Let's do it.
Sharing stream. And we are going to be live here in a hot second. Looks like we are good.
Oh yeah, live with those glasses. Great, bro.
I
Great.
like it. I like it a lot, sir.
Lovely. Welcome
MAB.
back, everybody.
Yeah.
MAB League started out 8 different teams picking from 100 of the greatest players of all time, and here we are, game 2 of the finals. We've got Pistons and Celtics. Pistons went in on the road, favored by 3.5, up by 20 something in the second quarter. I know we'll get into it a little bit. We're going to do a little bit of an oral history. We have Trent coming on, the owner of the Celtics, in about 10 minutes and kind of talk through that second quarter. So I don't want to do like a little spoiler alert, but just where your headspace at, most awesome. How you feeling?
I mean, it's I mean, obviously we're disappointed that we lost. It's, that's not too much of a shocker to anyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, up 22, and I thought we rolled through the first round, beating the Joie de Vivek.
Yep.
Then we beat the Lakers pretty handily on the road. Game 1, Game 2, they snuck up on us, and we only beat them like 90-89. That was but I was feeling pretty good. They had a good squad, but the two-headed monster of Elijah Wan and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and then obviously Zoe off the bench. They're probably 3 of the best offensive rebounding bigs in the game, and
Yeah.
it's clearly changing the layout of the finals.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so let's not bury the lead on that. We'll definitely dive in. Oh, is that little kung fu girl right there?
Right,
Segment
I gotta pull it out of the stops.
brought to you
God,
by
fuel,
Kung
my
Fu.
friend.
It's like you're like the only way I'm going to get through a fucking game 2 is you wake us on up. Okay, so let's talk right now. Obviously, we're going to roll out the MVP before we want to get voting going. This is before game 2. We're going to announce kind of our 3 finalists after we kind of talk through who we think was the best on each team, and then we want all you guys that participated and watching to vote. You send us your vote at mabsportspodcast@gmail.com. So just quickly going around the teams, let's talk about some of the teams that got swept early. If we look over at Joie de Vivek, who you kind of played in that first round. I mean, I would think, I don't want to go, try not to go super chalk on this. Is it Anthony Davis or LeBron James?
Well, I mean, Braun had better averages of the two, but didn't come through in the um, final game. Only had 13 points. I
Yeah.
think I think versatility wise, um, Anthony Davis was better. My kid's monitor going off in the background there.
Yeah,
Um,
I remember like a little bit, and just the eye test. Sometimes the stats, like the stats are stats, and of course those ring true. But I have a lot more memories of just kind of seeing Anthony Davis take over some situations and just being threatening not only inside the paint but from like 12 feet out, especially those long twos, the official shot of Mad League.
the official shot. That's correct. Yeah, exactly. Um, and LeBron not coming through probably burnt out a little bit, but both teams that first game, Anthony Davis had 28 points and a loss to the Pistons. I mean, played huge, so he was good. The next game was 14-8, but he's one of those guys where size and athleticism plus offensive rebounding could have made for a big mismatch later on in Mad League series.
Yeah, not really sure what didn't click there. I mean, it might have been just kind of the unluck of the draw having to go up against the Pistons early. But in like best of 3 series, you lose that first game, and all of a sudden, like you're on the road or like you're home, you're just like it turns into a must win out of the gate, and it's just like shit. We've only been playing together for like one game. All right, let's jump over to the Pelicans. Bing, almost out of spite, you want to be like Michael Jordan MVP, but I know some things will be thrown at the television, so I don't think we'll do that.
Yeah.
Um, was there one kind of player here that really just kind of took it over? I mean, like Isaiah Thomas, like ball handling was good. Like I think Jerry West was a pleasant surprise, but still thinking him number 2 overall. Like that sounds about right.
Yeah, I mean Jerry West, the logo, point guard, 6'2", averaged, had 28 and 26 points respectively in 2 games. Was really often only offensive scorer for the team. Averaged 23.5 points per game, 3.3 assists. Jordan led the team in assists, I think, and then was shooting at a pretty good clip, from the floor, and about 73% from 3-point line. So Jerry West is definitely, I think, the heads and shoulders scorer on that team, which is surprising when you've got Michael Jordan on that team.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll go to another team that was swept and get a single W during their season, and that would
Boy,
be my Nets. I almost want to give it to Julius Irving. Like it was really, it took me a while to find him. Wilt Chamberlain wasn't quite the dominant force underneath that I thought he would be. And I think it was, I could have used more size. I think I put a little too much on his shoulder. But that second game, when I opened Julius Irving up and just gave him the minutes and took away from Rodman, he just like his shooting percentage is really what we kind of needed to take us over. It just was too little too late.
yeah, 22 points in that final game. Um, Jason Kidd played really well in both
Yeah.
series. Took a little too many
But
threes
I
in the
can't.
middle, I think.
He was shooting threes, so it's just obvious he's
Can't
disqualified.
do it. And then Chamberlain in the loss there, 13 points, 15 rebounds, 4 blocks, had 9 blocks in that Boston series. But like you said, losing that game one in a game three series, coming out with your best rotation to start is super important, and you let that one slip away there, 104-88. Probably more minutes to Chamberlain served you well as he battled the boards against Zoe and those guys, but too little, too late.
Yeah, especially. And so let's probably go to the best team to not make it out of the first round. They did take it to three, and that would be Tom's Clippers. Oscar Robertson, Kobe Bryant, Karl Malone, Drexler, Baylor. It seems like a pretty even attack. He got Westbrook super involved, which was really impressive. It was just, I just kind of style of play wasn't really gelling, but I still think, Kobe had the same danger that you feel in real life in this simulation.
Yeah, Kobe was dangerous in 3 games. Really kind of unfortunately didn't show up quite as much in game three in that closeout game. Same with Clyde Drexler as well too. You know, uh, Karl Malone was actually surprisingly non-existent, but
Yeah.
Oscar Robertson was great, almost averaged a double points and assists as he was expect a triple double guy to go. But I think at this point it'd either be Clyde Drexler. Clyde had some really strong stretches in those series, but I think ultimately you'd probably go with Kobe, slight edge over Clyde.
All right, let's go to our teams that did make it in the second round, but not quite enough to get to the finals. We'll take a look at Joe's Lakers real fast. Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, McGrady, Embiid, Wade. Really, he got Embiid involved a little bit more than I thought he would. Like the
Right,
fatigue that happens in real life wasn't really working against him in the sim as much as you
right,
thought it would be. But I
right.
still think I remember Dwayne Wade being super impressive, reminding you of just what he was like in '06, just at his peak. And even like Paul George, I remember Paul George having some moments, but I still think it's got to be KD, right? KD is just like too dangerous. His size is too much. And again, the official shot, the long two, I mean, that's right in his wheelhouse.
Yeah, and KD felt the same thing that LeBron had in that first series closeout game. 1 of 5 shooting, 2 points, two assists, 1 rebound, non-existent. I'm surprised you didn't. I know maybe you didn't want to go with Curry. Curry was shooting. Let me just get to it. I mean, he was shooting ridiculously from 3-point land.
Yeah, that's right. I do remember that run where it was just like it felt like a real life like Curry 2014, 2015, just like a quick you know 3 for 4, 4 for 5 on like 7 possessions. And it's just like shit. Like he's
Yeah,
destroyed.
he was unreal. He was 16 of 20 in my series from 3-point land. All of his points came from three. Averaged 18, almost 19 points per game, 4.5 assists, 2 steals. Shooting percentage 72% from the floor, 69.7% from 3-point land, and then unfortunately only 75% from free throws. Maybe he only went to the line a couple times because I don't think he went to the line at all in my series. So maybe he just went 3 for 4.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. We'll give it to the mouthpiece. Arr, 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 I do have my mouthpiece. I do have my mouthpiece. Okay, well, let's hop over right now to a very kind of maybe the Cinderella of this entire MAB league. I think it kind of won everybody's hearts, and that would be the T Wolves, possibly like maybe two actual MVP candidates, and we will announce one of the three that everybody can vote for. We're giving you guys the three. You guys vote, and then we'll narrow it down and announce the MVP before tip off of
Sure.
game three. But I mean, Larry Bird and Shaq. I mean, just I, what a combo.
Yeah.
Maybe like the best like 1-2 that was going on. Like every time like Shaq, it took Shaq a while to get started and a couple of in both those series, right? Or like there'd be a couple games where like he really wouldn't show up to the second half, but it was like Larry Bird was right there, ready to step in and take it over.
I mean, Shaq was a legit problem in this whole entire series. I mean, he averaged double double, 20 and 10 in the Clipper series, and almost got there in the Boston series as well too. Let's just go run down Shaq's numbers. 21 and a half points per game, 9.7 rebounds per game. Keep in mind, this is on a 36-minute clip. 4.7 assists per game, 2.5 steals per game, 2.9 blocks per game, 74% from the floor, and shooting an insane 82% from the free throw line. It's not.
Yeah, which probably the most unbelievable thing about this game.
Second most unbelievable thing.
Okay, well, we'll announce it right
now. Has to go with 9.5 shots from.
We will give. We will. Shaq does have the nod. He is one of your 3 official MVP candidates. Where would we put? Can we put Bird all first team, all MAB first team?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
What slot do we put him in at?
We would put Bird in the small forward spot. I think he's probably arguably the best small forward in this series. I'm trying to get back to his stats here as I scrolled to the Celtics. 18 points per game. Didn't shoot a lot of. Didn't get a lot of rebounds. 2.5 steals. Or excuse me, 2.5 assists, 1.5 steals. Shooting about 50% from the floor, 63% from 3-point land, and perfect from the line, but had a lot of clutch moments. Closeout game against the Celtics, 28 points. Almost hit the game buzzer beater in game 1. Didn't quite get it off in time. I think ultimately just wore down as the Celtics just wore down the Timberwolves. But yeah, I mean, all first team for sure.
Okay, so Larry Bird at the 3, Shaquille O'Neal, an official MVP candidate, made it to the top 3. And I guess at the 1, let's just take care of this real fast for all MAB League team, all MAB League first team. With what, Steph at the 1?
Ooh, I mean, unless you're gonna take away my Magic Johnson.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I gotta keep Magic. Can we put Steph at the 2 then?
We could get creative, or yeah, I mean, we could get creative and put them in the backcourt. Just call them backcourt and then front court.
Okay, well, not to step on the lead, but that's fair. I fucked that up. But Magic Johnson, another one of ours. So your Pistons right there. What were you thinking drafting him? He is one of the 3. So right now, Shaquille O'Neal, MVP candidate. 3 MVP candidates. We'll let you guys vote. mabsportspodcast@gmail.com. Choose to vote. Magic Johnson is another player that's up for the MVP. Why do you like this pick? What do you like seeing out of him in the series?
So he's just, I mean, overall, he's just efficient in it. If you look at some of the advanced metrics and like per player efficiency rating, he's got a 28.4, which puts him up in Akeem and Shaq range. Efficiency ratings 25, which he's right there, like 3rd or 4th. And then game score like 19, which is pretty close to outstanding. His numbers don't sound as or as big as some of those other ones. 17 points per game, 3.5 boards, 5 assists, 3.5 steals, which he dominated. I mean, totally disrupted that King series. Just put Chris Paul in the baby bonnet and just rocked them to sleep. And then good shooting all the way around. Missed a clutch free throw in game 1 and a wide open jumper, but then stole the inbounds at the very end and almost knocked home a triple. Sent it to OT. So I mean, I love Magic. You're not gonna find an argument from me on not giving him an MVP spot.
And our last team we got to go to Celtics, leading the finals 1-0. Got to go with Hakeem Olajuwon. I think Hakeem Olajuwon might be leading player of the game nods.
Yeah.
Just whatever owner Trent's doing, adjusting his minutes, and then finally found the sweet spot. And it's just they are just Hakeem Olajuwon is leading this charge of you guys got one fucking chance to shoot it, and if you miss it, we're taking over, and then we're going to get 2 or 3 chances to shoot it because we're just going to crash those sports.
He's leading or second technically in all of playoffs, but in most games, 7 games, he's averaging 27 minutes game, which is pretty considerable. 22 points per game, 8.5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, a block, shooting at 65% from the floor. and pretty good 90% from the free throw line. So he also leads the league in offensive rebounds at 3 per game, which and this game has been huge. And he's just had huge moments every facet of the game. We talked in game 1 and had a highlight reel, which is up on our Twitch page, MAB, or excuse me, twitch.tv/MAB Sports Podcast. And you can just see he does all the little things: screens, strips, gets on the floor, cuts guys off for the loose balls. He does everything for the Celtics. He's been unbelievable in this playoffs.
Okay, so how can we make this work? Can I put Akeem Olajuwon in the 4 and have Shaq?
He's been playing in the 4 spots. So you can go Shaq, Akeem, Bird, and then Steph and Magic in the backcourt would be my all first team.
That's your all MAB league first team. We announced it, guys. Shaquille O'Neal, Akeem Olajuwon, Larry Bird, Steph Curry, Magic Johnson. Congrats to all those guys. MVP race. Right before we get Trent to hop on and kind of do our oral history of quarter 2 of game 1, MVP race, guys. It's Akeem Olajuwon, Shaquille O'Neal, Magic Johnson. We want to announce that before game 3, if there is one. If there is a finals, I mean, hats off to Celtics. Let's not get nuts. So send us those emails as soon as you can, because who knows how long this is going on. It may be sports.
And on that, we've got Brent. Okay.
All right.
Enough with that. Enough with that.
All right, let's get there he is. There he is.
Damn it. Look at this fucking guy.
How you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm excellent. You know. Do I look like I'm elevated? Because I'm riding high, bro.
I would know what you're gonna say. Yes, you look wonderful, friend. Good to see you.
So let's do before we jump on to it, guys. The game 2 tips in 45 minutes from now. Game 1 was all that you wanted it to be. And I imagine if Trent had a scripted too of just a way to really make it hard for Most Awesome to sleep. That's about how you tee it up. Is he hand over a 20, what was it, 23? What did it get up to?
22. Don't add extra points.
Okay, 22-point lead, but we have 22-point lead. The Buzzsaw Pistons against one of the weaknesses that everybody pointed out to the Celtics was not their inability to score points, but it had been low-scoring games. And so this tells me that no lead is safe going into it from now. Trent, what was the adjustments that you thought? Well, let's just get right down to it. I want to talk second quarter. So we go into the second quarter. What's the score? What are we trailing by? Celtics are down by at the start of the second quarter.
Well, it was a stretch where it's like 41-20, and then Havlicek had that and one to cut it to under 20 points. It was like 50-31 at that point, and then they went on an insane, I guess, 18-4 run to close out the second quarter. I think that's about right. I didn't actually.
Yeah, that's about. I know
that's correct.
But it was like, Trent, was there a time that when you down by 22, so that was the height of it, and even the announcers were making jokes or whatever. In all honesty, were you were you seething? What were you thinking? What were you seeing going wrong? And I mean, just be super honest. Obviously, you didn't give up on your guys, but give me the roller coaster of just games getting out of hand to this game is out of hand to just maybe we get a shot. Where are those 3 kind of benchmarks?
Well, arrogance is kind of like a suit of armor, but hope lives in your heart. And I got to be honest that the arrogance I had about my team was definitely pierced. It went, Paul just put a stake right through it, but he couldn't get the heart. Just like my team, we're built on heart. And so I always believed. I did send you a text joking that maybe I didn't think I was going to win, but I never truly thought we were out of it. And I brought this up later, but I had actually experienced before in game 2 against the Timberwolves having an exceptional lead that my team actually squandered, and then we lost at the very end. So I knew that it was possible. I will point out, I didn't get to rebut this at the last interview, but MA pointed out numerous times that my team was the lowest scoring team of the 8 in the that were simulated that we managed. But that begs the observation that I'm still in the championship. So that means that the teams playing me are not able to score as many points as I was.
Oh,
and
right.
I think,
you had the third least points per game allowed, which is true. I had the first, so I also shut teams down and still found a way to score over 100 points. So,
well, yeah, there's just a small difference that you played weak opponents, and my team is awesome.
You know, this might be a new MAB league. We might have our first like rivalry. Like you guys legit don't like each other, and I like
exactly. We're sworn enemies for the next what would be hour 45.
So Trent, go back to, so you said you can't pierce the heart. Obviously, you know, in this stuff, like you said, we've seen teams come back, but there had to be a little bit of fear of just, you know, you gave up 30 points in that first quarter, which is putting Most Awesome on a pace to score like 120, which obviously, being honest with your team, you're just like, there's no way I can get up there. What was the turnaround thing where you're just like, my guys might actually have a chance on this? I know like Most Awesome was shooting something ridiculous, like 70% that first quarter. Also, like, were you hoping just like eventually kind of just the math evens itself out, and then like you're going to start?
I needed a lot. I mean, I knew that they wouldn't continue to score at that pace.
It's already interrupt. Let me make this point and then let you run with it. Because also your team is built on getting those rebounds and not allowing second chance points. So if there's just like, if that shooting percentage is up, like what your team does well isn't allowed to just kind of unfold.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that hurt us the most was Nash playing basketball for us. And oh
yeah.
And when Nash was playing basketball for us, we were losing the basketball. And I got my guys together after the first quarter and I said, don't give them the basketball for nothing. Give it to them through the hoop like we did all the other games. And they took that note. And yeah, thank you, Paul. And but Nash is a turnover machine, and I don't know why, because I thought he had great handles and the dude could put the basketball through the eye of a needle, but he hasn't been shooting much for me. So we have made that adjustment.
Snowflake, the official monogram of Steve Nash.
Okay, that was a sick call by Paul. I got to give it to him. And actually, Paul, you don't get to hear this, but you get at least 4, you son of a bitches, every game that every time I've watched you play, because you got the zingers and I just have to sit silently and try to clickety clack some putback or some put downs back at you.
Yeah,
it's not as effective.
So at the end of the third quarter, that 80-footer or whatever, is that when
it was an 80-footer? It was an 80-foot. It was past the 3-point line. The court is how many feet, Trent? How many feet is the court? You never answered it.
I believe it's like 94 and a half or something weird.
Right. So 94
I call it 100 though.
So then, yeah, he was above the 3-point line, which is like 20 feet. 60 foot, yeah. Half quarter, not an 85-footer. Let's fucking.
You gotta turn on me. It was a long shot in fake basketball that went through the hoop.
True. That's true.
On my TV, it's only 7 inches.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the distance was from wherever Bob Cousy was in Paul's kitchen, because that's where it landed. I don't know how to measure that.
3 half quarters, which I think is the most. Usually, I don't see that many half quarters get taken, but Iverson missed one at the end of the first.
Close.
Yeah, that was so close. And then the 0.9 second left steal by Magic was insane.
Oh my gosh!
I even said it in the game call. It was like, it's over. And then Harden goes to shoot and jump passes over to Pippen for the corner 3, knocks it down, and then you guys call a timeout, which advances it to the front court, which is always a dangerous play in MAB League.
Oh my gosh!
And it kicked it off the back.
I mean, I was if there was a camera on me, the famous Bill Self in the tournament when Steph Curry has to kick off for the 3 and he barely misses the winner against Davidson and they cut to Self and he's on his knees. That was exactly my body position as that ball was in the air.
Trent, I remember you talking shit on Self, right? You're just like, don't show weakness. You're like, that's a big mistake by Self.
Oh,
get off your knees.
It's the only thing I don't like about Self is that moment. And I didn't have cameras on me, or you would have seen me just twiddling a toothpick going, he's got it. No worries.
Okay, so we got 5 minutes left. So two things. First off, we want to give the hats off. Congratulations. I don't know if you were able to listen earlier before you hopped on air, but MVP race, 3 finalists are Magic Johnson, Shaquille O'Neal, and of course, Akeem Olajuwon. What's some of the happy surprises you've seen at Akeem Olajuwon? Is this what you thought when you drafted him, or is it just like he demanded his spot and now he's just kind of the guy leading the Celtics to hopefully a championship?
Hakeem Olajuwon is by far, I'd say, the value pick of the draft in my estimation, and I'm literally getting out of Hakeem what I thought I was going to get out of Kareem. And they, I mean, honestly, their draft position should be swapped. I mean, KAJ has certainly owned the boards. I mean, 12 rebounds last game is a huge reason why we would have won without him. Absolutely, but Hakeem can win. Can hit from absolutely anywhere. He's a nightmare. The switch that I made for him to guard Shaq was just absolutely huge. And really, I think is a large reason why Shaq wasn't as effective in Game 3 as he had been in Game 2. When he was teamed up with Mutombo. He does everything. He even like his pick and roll is better than Kareem's. So I can't. Yeah, he's by far the best pick in the draft. I think getting him, I believe, in round 4.
Yeah, so you've been pretty famous about not afraid at all to tinker with minutes. Definitely, like we said last time, like the most established is just like throwing new lineups out there to see what happens, even after victories. Are we going to see kind of the same thing running it back, or are there even more tweaks that maybe you saw weaknesses from the Pistons that you want to try to exploit?
I believe that if it's leaking, you should fix it. And there, a lot of people have the don't if it ain't broke kind of approach.
Yeah.
And most of those people are on unemployment, and that's just not how, that's not how this is pre-pandemic unemployment, by the way, is what I'm talking about. Not right now pandemic, or unemployment. So to that end, I have figured out the bigs. The three-headed monster, as you guys named it, is obviously perfect. I think it's set the way I want. Occasionally, I'll get a Kawhi Leonard at the 4, but for the most part, the rotation has been really, really great. But I got to try my hand at Penny Hardaway as my point guard. I think. The one Nash has consistently given me assists, but oftentimes he'll have more turnovers than assists. He hasn't been scoring, and Penny's 6'7". So I'm going to start Penny Hardaway this game at the point guard, and at least in this way, I can see what happens with the rotations with that, and see if it makes the positive difference. Then I'll win by a little bit more. If it's a nightmare and I see some really small, weird lineups going out there, then I can go back to what I would have done normally and just gone Bob Cousy with more minutes and Nash with fewer, which is what I toyed about.
Yeah, and you can probably speak to it more than anybody else, and that's the scary thing, right? When you start tweaking a little bit, and you're just like, all right, I'm going to go heavy on Steve Nash, and then like he's got that fucking snowflake like halfway through the first quarter. You're just like, shit, like how many minutes did I give that guy? I gotta get him out now.
Yeah.
It's terrifying stuff.
It is painful. And like, I mean, imagine if you were a team that had basically played the same setup the whole way through the tournament, and then all of a sudden you get your first loss in the championship series, and you're like, oh, I haven't messed around with this, so I don't know what's going to happen, and I have to win this game or not. I mean, if you were in that situation, you'd be terrified because you just lost and everything's on the line, and you didn't take opportunities to get information earlier. And I don't want to be in that.
I got a lot of information in 5 straight wins.
Yeah, it's like Googling Kawhi and seeing these like 94 instead of 96, and then losing your shit and switching up everything to lose by 9 on the road. That's nuts. All right, guys, I know you both got to get back to the locker room. Good luck to both you guys. I won't even put your feet to the fire and give you a prediction. I know you guys both competitors. There's a lot of love and just enough seething between the both of you to have a dynamite game 2. Guys, that kicks off in half an hour on Twitch / MAB Sports Podcast. I think it's something like that. You'll find
Twitch.tv, but you're good.
Yeah, the link's there at MAB_sports on our Instagram. And we got Celtics on the road at the Pistons. Celtics -1.5, the favorite. All right, guys, good luck to you both. Any last words?
You got Trent. You got one last thing? One
I got 50 on the Celts.
You got it, buddy.
All right, that's done. Paul, I love you. You're one of my favorite people in the world. As soon as the tip off, I wish you nothing but failure and humiliation.
I was trying to
come off in the middle. That'll make it.
Shut up. I love you too, Trent. And but not in tip off time.
Exciting game too. All right, I'll see you soon, bud.
Man, we'll see. B. I made a few tweaks myself, my friend.
I know. You know what's funny is like I saw it a little bit Q3 last night. That poker face doesn't show up on your face, bro. There's gonna be we're rooting for the Pistons tonight. You just do your thing. I'll try to keep it as even as possible. I know you're gonna go way off the rails, so I'll see what I can do to hold.
I challenge anyone in the super competitive to get on there and 100%. Watch your team fall apart and have to be. Who says I have to be professional? This is MAB League.
MAB
League. I wanted to be professional. I would go out and get a real job.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, brother. Well, 30 minutes, twitch.tv/MAB Sports Podcast. Tell your friends at MAB_sports on our stores. Will be there. Enjoy it. Brantana, beautiful as always, sir. We'll see you at tip off.
Good luck to you, buddy. See you soon.
Absolutely.